Hi guys, how are you doing? It's Elaine Bintz, Wellness Coach. It is the end of March of 2023. I hope everybody is having a great start to your spring, and I hope you're having a great day. So today's topic, how to improve balance as we age, came from one of my the private Facebook group Grow with Elaine members. Thank you, Kim, for the topic idea. It's a great idea. So hopefully with the time change, if you do live in an area where you change your clocks and then spring happening, I hope everybody is able to get outdoors more and get more sunlight and get more vitamin D and have some fun. So this topic idea actually came at a great time. So sometimes we're doing things indoors that don't necessarily challenge our balance. But if we get outside, go walk on a trail, maybe walk our dog, maybe you do some things like planting a garden or squatting and moving and shifting your weight from side to side, sometimes those activities will challenge your balance. So a couple ways to start. So let's say first off, big picture, what is the best way to maintain balance as we age? Number one, best strategy is to use your balance or you will lose it. So for example, something simple, say you never do any balance exercises. Just grab a folding chair or a chair that you have at home that has a sturdy base. So you're not going to want to do these exercises in like a recliner or a couch because you're going to want to have something that has a sturdy seat. So say you want to get started, simple movement is starting from a seated position and moving your limbs. So even moving your limbs makes your nervous system work in order to maintain where your body is in relation to space. So if you start with the upper body, those limbs are limbs you usually use more often. If that's easy, then try moving your legs side to side, kicking out to the front, and see if you can maintain balance in your trunk between your shoulders and your hips. So say for example, those things are really easy. So you're sitting in a chair, you can do that stuff. You can juggle if you're gonna move your cup to an end table, or it's easy for you to look behind you and it's not hard for you to maintain balance because some people do have inner ear or vertigo disorder where if they do change their position from seated to standing or they have a big shift in rotation, sometimes they do get dizzy. So please be careful with this, especially if you do have a tendency to get dizzy. So if the seated exercises are easy, go ahead to a surface that has a sturdy base. So for example, in my fitness room here, I would just use like my squat rack. So this has about a 600-pound weight limit. And it's something that I know that if I needed to, I could stand next to and I can grab onto it and I'll fall safe. So I won't feel like I'm gonna fall. So how to improve your balance as you age? You have to use it. So first tip is to get to a place where you have a stable surface. And then an easy way to start, if you have a clock with a watch hand with a seconds timer, you can look and see if you can hold this for 30 seconds. And then as you get better, take your hands away from that sturdy surface, but stay close to that sturdy surface in case you need it. And then do the same thing on the other side. So as you progress, meaning you get better at balance, you get stronger, these are easier, you're more confident. Just progress to the other leg, still standing by that sturdy surface, and then check out the time, check out the clock. If you have your phone handy, you can use the stopwatch feature and you can start it and stop it, or you can set a timer for 30 seconds and see if you could do simple things like standing on one leg at a time. Some of the movements some of my physical therapy friends have done with their clients is moving one side of the body, like in a clock position, going counterclockwise or clockwise, and the same motion with one standing leg with the hand off, and then repeating that same exercise on the other side. So simple progressions for balance, standing on one leg, gently having one foot off the ground, just a couple of inches, and then you can progress, get better by lifting the one leg that is up and then moving your leg out laterally to the side. And then bringing it back to center. So a key, and most of my clients know I am very big on balance. So balance is a part of all of my clients' routines, whether they're a former gymnast, hockey player, anybody who has been in an industry. I've had some clients who were iron workers where they had a balance on very narrow surfaces in order to stay steady when they're up on those buildings, building things. But even in my small group training, my online remote small group training, those classes that I hold Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, I always put at least one balance exercise in the routine. So balance is important at every age. It's not just at 20 years old or 40 years old or 70 years old. And if you don't practice, do something even 3 minutes a day. So 3 minutes, what could that be? Standing on one leg for 30 seconds, standing on the other leg for 30 seconds, and then you could do the same movement with a dynamic movement, moving your arm 30 seconds per leg. That's just 2 minutes. And if you want to make it even harder, we do exercises called dynamic, which is where you are moving your body. So static would be stationary. And actually, I have a YouTube video on some more stationary balance exercises. It was in 2021 in my 30-day challenge. So it was sometime in January, I think January 18th, 2021. I did a whole video on static. So start with stationary, static, standing in one place. And then second, as those exercises get easier, move on to dynamic, which is moving. So for example, if you have that chair handy, sitting, standing, if this is easy, you can try shifting your weight to one leg, sitting, standing on one leg. Now, if you do have knee issues, or if you need a knee replacement and you're recently coming out of rehab or you've had a knee replacement, please, before you do some of these exercises, especially a single leg squat, standing on one leg, tapping, and then standing back up, please check with your physical therapist before you do some of these moves. Another example of a dynamic balance exercise would be lunges. So reaching forward, bending both knees, and then standing back up, and then moving your body in space so that you can traverse or go across land. So lunges are a very traditional exercise in the fitness world, but they have actual application into everyday living. Say something drops on the ground, you need to pick it up. You're gonna do a bending motion where you have both knees that are bent. One leg is usually separated, a split stance, or one leg in front of the other, and then you reach over to grab it. So the lunge movement is very adaptable to everyday living. So let's say another exercise, you want to make this a little bit harder. So grab something like a string. So I would use a contrasting color. So I just have a piece of dental floss and I just grabbed a string long enough. So it's probably about my height. It's probably about 5 feet, and use a contrasting color to your floor. So for example, my carpet is like a grayish brown. So I just grabbed some dental floss. So say your carpet is a lighter color, you're gonna wanna use like a darker, like you can use hemp or a yarn or something. And if you wanna make this harder, you can do a dynamic exercise where you put a string on the ground and then you start where your feet are separated. So you might not be able to see this on the ground. And then as you get better, you move into what's called a tandem stand, where your heel and your toe are close, and then you try walking on a line. So for example, if I'm walking, I would start with a piece of dental floss. You're just gonna throw it out when you're done. So have an inch or two in between your feet and see if you can balance walking on a line, looking down where you're looking. And then as that gets easier, try what's called a heel to toe step. So, or a tandem stance. So one foot on the piece of dental floss, and then the other heel comes around and taps right where the toe is for a tandem. And then you try to keep your balance, walk on the line. And then as that gets easier, you can go backwards. So actually, I'm working on this with our 5-year-old son right now. So we have a balance beam at home, and then walking forward, and then him using his space, his body in relation to space, so his nervous system, and putting arms out to the side. So if you can go forward, and that's easy, then try going backward. Of course, if you need a stable surface to put your arms on, you might want to do this next to a wall where you can grab the wall, and then try going backward. So these are just some resources. You can check YouTube out. I mean, chair yoga. Kayla, I interviewed from Now Yoga in St. John. I interviewed her in January. You can check out our YouTube video, our interview. It's a very brief interview. Or on my private Grow with Elaine Facebook page. Kayla teaches chair yoga. So you could physically go to a chair yoga class if you're new to a lot of these balance exercises, or if you want an even harder challenge. YouTube has a ton of resources, and you could go to a yoga class or a Tai Chi class. So a lot of fitness centers, YMCAs, gyms, I mean, you can go to a yoga studio. Usually they're going to have a class that's a little higher level. So again, my name is Elaine Bintz, Wellness Coach. The topic for today is how to improve your balance as we age. I genuinely think you can get better at so many skills. Balance is a very easy skill to get better at. You can simply practice 3 to 5 minutes a day, and I genuinely believe that you can get better at it at any age. It is one of those skills, you need it. 1, to prevent falling. 2, if you're going to be with your grandkids or running around doing things like this, everyday living, picking things up outside, moving things around in your house, if you're doing spring cleaning. But also it is an easy skill to adapt to that you can get better at quickly. You just need to keep practicing it. So please reach out to me for any more tips and advice. I hope everybody is having a great spring, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day. Bye.